Hey guys, here we are at Ottawa Castle. It was actually a little bit late to get here, so it's actually closed. But it's fine. I've actually been here quite a few times. I had a buddy of mine used to live here, and there was this courtyard where we would have a beer together, and the cherry blossoms and everything. It was great. But unfortunately, it seems that that's closed too due to a landslide. So this trip, not the way I expected, but not a big deal. I can always come back again. It's not too far. This is Kirin tea here. Love Kirin teas. The Kirin beer, apparently not so good. By the way, a funny thing happened to me when I was paying for this. I was looking in my change pocket here, and apparently I forgot my house key. I still have my bike key, obviously, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if I dropped it somewhere, or I'm assuming I just left it at home, but not a big deal. So it gave me a little bit of a scare when I was paying for this, but it's fine. I'll just go home, and my wife and kid will be waiting there. Today, we're going to look at one of my favorite topics, and that is Japanese castles. People may not know this about me, but I love Japanese castles. I would consider it to be one of my main hobbies, to be honest. There's this stamp rally called the Hyaku Meijo, and it's where you get all 100 stamps. There's one at each castle, and there's at least one castle in every prefecture in Japan. So quite the journey, but you can see on this map here that I'm more than halfway done. Maybe sometime in the next 5 or 10 years I'll have completed them all. And if you guys are interested, let me know. But I was thinking about maybe prestiging, in other words, trying to get all 100 again. But maybe this time I would film it as like a video series or something. Obviously, I'm not going to do the entire video series in one go like with this, but over many years, I would put out a castle video every now and then, and because I'm really passionate about them. I really do love them. So if that's something you guys are interested in seeing, let me know. But today we're going to talk about the castles of Japan. We're going to talk about the different regions, and if you come to a region in Japan, how good is that region for castles? I thought it would be a good way to kind of talk about castles succinctly. So let's start with Hokkaido. Hokkaido is, of course, it's both a region and like a prefecture. There's two that are pretty close to each other, and those are both pretty good ones. The Star Castle in particular, I absolutely love that castle. It's one of my favorite all-time castles, and that city as well. Gorgeous city. I wish I could move there, frankly. I love it so much. But there's one castle that is so far out of the way that it makes this entire region like a sea, I think, because this one castle, it's not even a castle even, it's like an Ainu reservation. And basically this Ainu land, it's so far east that to get there you basically have to take a plane. When I got this stamp, I flew in there, then I rented a car and drove all the way to Sapporo. So it was quite the journey, and it was like an extra couple $100 just to get this one stamp. So I don't think I would ever go back there unless there was a really good reason. But that Star Castle, absolutely gorgeous. Definitely check it out if you happen to be in that area. So overall though, definitely see. Next is the Tohoku Region, and this one, it's got a couple smaller castles. There's not that many. They're spread kind of far apart. I went to a couple of these in the winter, and it was gorgeous. But if you're a first timer, I definitely wouldn't recommend this as a region. And there's a lot of kind of castle stamps here that are not really castles, as I kind of mentioned before. They're more just like parks. So I had a lot of fun traveling around that region, but I think there are better ones out there. All right, next let's look at Kanto. Kanto, unfortunately, despite having Tokyo, Yokohama, and being the place you want to be, it's probably one of the worst regions for castles. And in fact, Otawari right here, this is one of the only legitimate castles in all of Kanto, and this one's actually not even, it's like, it's concrete on the inside. It's kind of like a renovation, kind of reimagining, because it was burned down in some sort of war, as castles often are. So this is an excellent one, but for the most part, Kanto basically has nothing. It has a couple parks. The reason why Kanto is such a disaster when it comes to castles is because there was this thing that happened a couple hundred years ago called the Meiji Restoration. And that's who that guy is in the thumbnail. He was the emperor at the time, and he wanted to kind of modernize Japan and westernize it, I guess. And part of that was getting rid of the kind of feudal, ancient ways, right? And so one of the mandates was to destroy all the castles in Japan, because it was like, well, we don't need these anymore. But kind of slowly people realized, like, wait, this is stupid. Let's not do this. We're like destroying our history. So yeah, some of them did survive, and those are the originals, and that's great. But a lot of those ones in Kanto, whether through the Meiji Restoration or through other wars or events or whatever, they're all gone. So yeah, definitely a D. It's one of the weaker regions, unfortunately, which is a real shame, because I love castles, but you basically have to travel pretty far to see some good ones. Okay, next let's look at the Chubu region. It has some really great castles for sure. Kanazawa, which is a little bit far away, but absolutely another gorgeous one. This one was remodeled using the original building style, so it's a beautiful piece of architecture. No nails used in its construction at all, completely faithfully rebuilt. Absolutely amazing. And then there's a couple here and there that I love. I love Inuyama. Inuyama is a very small castle on a hill, but absolutely gorgeous during the cherry blossom season. Anytime I'm in Nagoya, I have to go there because it is just so great. And it's one of the few castles in Japan that's actually an original from that time period. So absolutely fantastic castle. Overall, this region is fantastic. Big, small, new, old. Definitely an S for me. Okay, Kansai. I think Kansai is a little bit overrated. A lot of people come here for that type of Japanese history. This region has Kyoto, this region has Osaka, which, don't get me wrong, those are fantastic places to visit. And absolutely, if it's your first time in Japan, those are the type of places that you want to go. But having seen, not to be pretentious here, but having seen a majority of the castles in Japan, they're okay. Like Nijo, which is the Kyoto one, I think that has a lot of history, and it's beautiful, and it has some excellent artwork in there. But the actual structure is not particularly amazing. And then Osaka is almost the opposite, I would say, where the outside is absolutely gorgeous, but then when you get inside, it's really no different than a museum. The whole thing is concrete, like it doesn't feel like a castle inside at all, which is fine. It's good to have some different variety, but that's not my favorite type. I prefer the inside to be faithful to the original building styles. Again, I sound very pretentious, but this region does have Himeji, which is quite possibly the most famous Japanese castle. But again, not to sound pretentious, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just be pretentious this entire review. I don't really like Himeji that much. On the outside, it looks gorgeous, and also the gardens that it has are so massive and beautiful, and just unforgettable, frankly. But the interior of Himeji is really not worth it. There's almost nothing in there. No set dressings, nothing. The inside is, I believe, completely original, which is a big plus. But I mean, at the same time, you got to put something in there, and it's just completely empty. There's nothing there. So I think Himeji is very overrated, despite having a absolutely beautiful outside. So yeah, I would say B. All right, Chugoku. I have to be honest, Chugoku is one of the regions that I've seen less of. I think that Hiroshima, beautiful castle. Iwakuni, one of my favorite castles of all time. It's like these 3 kind of curved bridges, and then you take a ropeway thing to get to the castle at the top of the mountain. Absolutely beautiful. I love this one so much. I have a picture of it behind me where my computer is. Overall, this region is very solid. I think I would give it an A. Okay, next, Shikoku. I love Shikoku. I had a very memorable trip there where I actually took a ferry into Tokushima, and then I did a bike ride around. Then I rented a car for a little bit of it, then did some more bike riding. Quite the adventure. Took about a week of time, and one of my favorite experiences in all of Japan, and it was just hits from start to finish. It was beautiful. Every single castle there, I felt like not a single one wasted my time. Every single one of them felt unique. Every single one of them was beautiful. No complaints, and I would give this region an S. You could pick any castle in this region, and I think you would love it. Okay, last region is Kyushu, and I'm going to include the island Okinawa in this. There's a lot of these great castles that are in the middle of nowhere, right? So you take a long time to get there. You get there, it is a beautiful thing, but that's all there is there, and it took a long time, took a lot of money to get there. It is very far out of the way. So for that reason, I would have to bump it to an A, even though on paper I think it's an S region for sure. Another thing that kind of brings it down is there was recently in Okinawa, there was a major fire that destroyed one of the castles there, and that's a real shame. I think they are in the process of rebuilding it, but you know, one of these landmark castles that one of the best in Japan burned down, right? So big hit to the Kyushu region. So I think A is fair. All right. All right, starting to get a little windy. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me rant about these castles. Again, I can't stress enough, if you're interested in seeing me go to some of these castles and talking about them in some sort of video, I would absolutely love to do that. So let me know if you're interested in that sort of thing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.